So we're going to start on the 1st of December with a realistic 1001. I understand it's got corrosion. I'll tell you what, we'll take the as I've said, we do repairs for the trade. I don't test these things on batteries. I expect the supplying dealer to be able to deal with anything to do with batteries. Although we'll do the odd end user, still charge them the trade prices. So if anybody did want a retail type of job where we check things on batteries, well, I'm sure we could come up with a tariff. Right, open it up first to see. Oh yeah, I can see that's got some corrosion. I'll just start taking the case screws out of the side. This is probably going to end up in our ultrasonic cleaner, or the bottom of it anyway. Not cleaning any records tonight. I've just cleaned out the ultrasonic cleaners and I found I've got no, should I say, distilled water, which we recover from various air conditioners around here. Yeah, it's a difficult one, that, isn't it? I mean, what do you do? What we will do is we'll power it up. First of all, I'll disconnect the speaker. You know, considering how expensive these were at $119.99, you'd think that people would take a bit more care not to use them in the rain, so the water's going down the bottom of the aerial and dripping on the bottom, or leaving on the rain so that the bottom floods. But there you go. Right, a power lead for one of these. We've got some really small ones, which should be enough. Let's see if this one fits. Okay, so we've got no power. So go down the other route, we'll put the crocodile clips on and see if we can power it from the battery compartment with the crocodile clips. I've got one of these myself which only powers off batteries because the socket's broken. So if we put the positive on there, negative on there. It doesn't power up in that way either. We've had these chokes fail as well. I'll just put this to chassis. So we're powering up if we put it to chassis. As you can see, oh, you can't see. So it's the negative side that's got the issue. So go back to this connector. And we paste the positives fine. So we've got no continuity to negative. So I'll get the service manual out and we'll take it from there. Well, the next day I've got some time to put back into this. I know what's going to have happened here, and it is that the sockets will have failed, or one of them has. When we look at the circuit diagram, here's an extract from the circuit diagram. Have it the right way on. Battery negative goes through that choke L18 and takes its way to the switch of the charger socket. From there it goes to the switch of the power socket, and from there it goes to the radio. So we know that if we apply negative power to the chassis, the set works. So it's highly unlikely that one of these has burnt out, unless you've had somebody reverse polarity it and the fuse has failed. Instead it's going to be the switches inside the DC jacks. So all we can do is a huge amount of work to take out this entire control panel, and those jacks are moulded, but you never know, we may find we've got a scrap AM set. So what we just need to do is unsolder here. I know I've got a camera overhead, but I could do this still without having to play the video back. So we've got no, I don't do mobile phones. Oh, you got a camera on a mobile phone? No, I haven't. A little diagram of what goes where. So we haven't got anything under this shield plate, which is a relief. While I'm at it, may as well unscrew the rod antenna. then at least when we get the readings, it'll be closer than if we got the rod antenna still in place. Now, I've never done this before, so this is a new one. So I've got a disc ceramic capacitor there. I've got high and low power. And it looks like everything else. I bet this is the first part they put in when they assemble these. Anyway, I'll work on it. Okay, so we've got a scrap chassis here. I knew we got this 1005. This is how I bought this in a job lot of stuff. And we've had a few parts off it, don't get me wrong, but it's still got the side control panel. I've got an AM version of the previous model, which is the same panel here. So, taking a photo of that side. This is our one hope. Don't think anybody has loads of these scrap kicking around. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll cut the wires off this one. Then we can see where they go, can't we? On the other, that's antenna. Good. So we better check the switch on this donor one. I presume well, before we presume, so we've got continuity between those switch contacts, which is all I'm expecting that connection there is going to be the the pin. Yep, that works fine. So it's actually easier to swap this you know, with the printed circuit than it is to dismount, I would think. Look, we've got different coils on this one. Interesting. I'm tempted to swap the high-low power board if I can get to the screws. It's a slightly different design. And when I start putting this back together, I'll put that back later. So we're going to make sure this works with just the sockets connected. Right, having recovered the control panel, we'll just see that these are working. And the diode. Yep. You'll notice this is on an angle. If we put the other one back, you'll notice that's on a bit of an angle. It's the way it is, and it's the way it's supposed to be. These are kind of higher. I think I'm going to clean this with isopropyl alcohol so we can see it properly, and then I think I'll have my tea and we'll come back to it. Right, so we've got the diagram from the service manual. I've shown you the circuit diagram. Took a photo before I took the top wire off, and there we go. So put the wires back on. So now, before soldering all the rest in and fitting the aerial socket up, we'll see whether it powers up. So put that into the power socket, and we're powered up. So there we go. So I'll put a bit more of this together and we'll come back to the video. See what happens now. So we've got our control panel in, it's wired up, high-low power switch replaced, aerial socket replaced, not done the wiring to the battery box. Our wires come off that, which is not surprising. Getting slung around. So we'll do a quick tune-up because I'm sure that's really what was wrong with it, apart from the corrosion which the other dealer has dealt with. Put the Motorola adapter on. Remember, I've said loads of times before, what we read on these isn't necessarily true because of the lossiness of the arrangement here. So hopefully, we've got to connect it up to power, haven't we? are. So we'll connect the radio to our test equipment through its extension speaker socket at the top. And we've got an FM hiss, which is brilliant. It's receiving. Just going to get the signal generator on frequency. And it's transmitting. It's 3.5 watts straight off the thing, which is exactly what it should be. It's the later version with the preset, which is definitely more desirable than the earlier version without the preset. I need a sheet. Did I start a sheet? Yes, I did. So let's run through it. Three and a half watt radio. Low power. Have I got picture in picture? No, I haven't. 320 milliwatts. Back to full power. 865 milliamps. How efficient is that? The meter reads, doesn't have an S meter. Deviation is a quick check on here. Wallow. What are we tuned to? Wallow. About 1.9 there. We're not doing the VCO, it's not something which is going to be a problem. We can go through it, but it takes the tariff up a different tier. Frequency, let's have a look. (27.79108). I will just pop that up. Turn the set off. Try and get inside the tin. It doesn't need doing this, but just for the video, we'll do it. So it's the one next to the crystal, not the one there, which is the VCO. Switch it back on. There we go, that'll do me. Now the fun bit is putting the tin can back on. That work's gone on this one. Or I'm good at it, one or the other. I'm going to switch the other test set on so we can do the deviation, give that 5 minutes. I might as well do the tune up on the transmitter right now. So it's already doing 3.5 watts. So whatever I do isn't going to make it better. If you get one of these which is doing more than 3.5 watts, turn it down to 3.5 watts, or you'll end up beating batteries for no better range. Let's go back to the main meter. Check we're on channel 20. I would do if the light was there we are. I think that wants a bit of a spray, the PTT switch. I'll just turn the set back off. I mean, when did it last work's the thing, isn't it? It'll improve with use. So right up with where? Just see where we are between. We're now at 3.7 watts. Just going to go between the channels. 3.5, 3.5. So that coil was the one which was lopsided. I'm not going to touch these. It's totally unnecessary because the set's already doing more power than the manual says it should do. So there's no point on sealing them. So just adjust the power, just adjust. Three and a half watts. So it looks the same, but it ain't. 3.5 watts. Channel 40. 3.5 watts. Channel 1. 3.5 watts. That gives us new reading for channel back on channel 20 low power. Doesn't, it's 320 milliwatts. That's not adjustable, it's fixed resistor which is on that switch we've dealt with. Now current consumption now, if we go back to full power, is 899, we'll call it 900 milliamps. It's doing a little bit more, but we've got the 3.5 watts throughout. So I'm going to skip deviation, wait for the other test set to come on for about 10 minutes, and we'll do the receive. So when on paper these usually look disappointing, but hopefully with the rod antenna removed we've got a bit more nearer reality. So let's go for camera. Let's put some more test gear on. We'll go for camera 4. Look at the cyanide meter. And for 12 dB we have got 1.35 microvolts. Remember, these are crystal filtered as factory standard. And I've not known these go lopsided like some of the cheaper later sets did. What am I doing? We're on channel 20, mate. There we go. 1.2. And if it does 20, yeah, it does do 20. It's 2.9. Squelch isn't adjustable. What you get is what you get. Squelch to full. It's a handheld, remember. And it's at the moment it's doing 18.5 microvolts for the strongest, and for minimum, let's go to the attenuator so you can see what I'm doing. Signal generator back on, parts to 0.3 of a microvolt. So at the moment a minimum squelch sensitivity is 3 microvolts, which isn't good. So I might be able to bring this up. Meter lamp is not applicable, switches work, potentiometers work, sockets work, doesn't have one of those. That's working, don't know about the speaker. replace side socket panel. We'll charge him £1 for that. Right, just tuck that back where it should be. I think we've got a tie clip missing there. Okay, so let's see whether we can improve the receiver. So we'll put 100 microvolts on the signal generator, just like that. Turn the volume up till we get a decent trace on the oscilloscope, and see if we can remember without getting the full service manual out, which is the detector. So, let's have a look. There's the FM chip. Miles out. Good. Better turn the squelch down. Right, we'll go to cyanide meter, see whether we can get a little bit more out of that. That is the second harmonic transmit, do not adjust without a spectrum analyzer. Gained a bit there, we'll drop the signal with the signal generator. A bit more there, drop the signal. That's spot on. I'm going to recheck the detector because it was so out. Okay, back to cyanide meter. One day I'll reset where this camera is. Show the mouse play on it. So now for 12 dB we've got 0.7. Oh, I'm about to have an avalanche. For 10 dB, .65. For 20 dB, 1.6. Alright, let's go back to squelch. Put the camera back on the attenuator. So I've got squelch to full. 1, 3, 10, 30. And it's now 15 microvolts for full squelch. And so these aren't a base station, you're not going to be able to squelch at S9. Now on, let's park this at 0.3 of a microvolt, set the minimum squelch, signal generator back on. And it is 0.85. There we are, that's turned really lousy receive with rubbish squelch to excellent. Right, we'll start putting it back together. I'll pause the video, you don't see me putting the lids on. Right, next stage, I'm just going to put the crocodile clips on and we'll just check that it works the way I've wired the battery compartment. And the answer is yes. So screw the range boost side panels back. These make a massive difference to the range. It isn't some gimmick. I'm not going to be too tight with those. I've soldered the wire back on the channel check light. So I've got one of these which only works on battery and not off the power supply, and really I should have put that panel on mine, shouldn't I? But it doesn't matter. Right, tuck that back in yet again. We need to check deviation, so get it back on the power supply. Right, other glasses on. Not very visual this, because I can't show you the other meter with it being on the other bench. Right, let's do a quick Warlow. Warlow. Low that. So the only control is deviation, which is there. Warlow. See what it reads on the other test set, just for the giggles. Back on main meter. Warlow. Showing a bit high on that one, but it isn't. Right, I'd like to get a bit more service oil into that switch. Yeah, that's better. It's going into transmit all the time now, but it will improve when, because it's going to be self-wiping contact. Right, lid. This trade customer has also sent in a DNT base station, so we'll redo the power supply. They're difficult to set up with the multi-crystal synthesizer. You've got to set up, transmit and receive separate entities as far as frequency goes, with two signal generators. One as a marker oscillator, and we'll have to rebuild the power supply. That speaker works, so bottom case screw. Not sure where the other one's gone. Worry about that later. I think that's the bottom case screw I've put in there. Because it's the only one that's still black, so we'll just swap that over, put it in the bottom, sort the other one out later. Right, we should be able to get an on the air test done. There we go. Very nice. What we're going to do now? Turn the soldering iron off, turn the test equipment off, plug the roof aerial in. Clean round that socket with our fiberglass brush. One on a Roger. So, $19 Roger. Okay, well, there's nothing different there, is there? Right, we'll do an on-the-air test, so that's another set resurrected from the scrap bin. Thanks for watching the realistic TRC1001 late version, so it'll be from 1982.